If you are watching this video up to this point, please note that I don't take your support for granted. Thank you for watching. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Without much wasting of your time, I need to explain what actually happens on level counting. As you can actually see, this is a V10 chart right on the H4 time frame, and the levels are as much clear as possible as they can be. So I want to calculate, or I want to show you the pretty cool levels that are that are clear there, and I will tell you what I think or what the market has to do after I show you these levels. Okay, level counting is actually one of the best things that you can actually do, so stay tuned and listen. Please unlearn what you've learned first so that you can learn new things without criticizing too much. So let's roll. So as you can see right here, it's actually an extract actually. So you can actually see right here we had our peak formation low here, right? Then from peak formation low we had our level 1 up to here, right? That's our level 1. Then level, sorry about these ones that are actually coming from nowhere. Then level 2 here, right? Then we had our level 3 up to there, right? So those are something like our crazy looking levels and stuff. So I want to explain this point here. A lot of people will be confused on what to do after they have actually seen their 3 levels, right? So the point of this episode is to show you what happens right here. So I'm actually going to put my question marks here and explain, right? So before I go to what I'm actually going to explain on what happens at this point, I want to explain something that is quite interesting, right? Please remember we said that the market maker only has two functions, that is to trap liquidity and to take you out, to induce you to track those trades. So it's more of inducing you and trapping you, right? So as you can see, when we are actually going up here, when we were going up to that direction, right here, people were buying, they were enjoying this crazy buy, right? And you see this consolidated that created something like an M here, right? This was the first trap here, right? Sorry about those. So this was the first trap. Remember, as more people were seeing these buys, they were buying. Then the market maker had to reverse a bit. Let me choose a pencil here. Then the market maker had to reverse those buys here, and those were buying at this point were actually taken out by this move, right? Then as people saw the market going down, they were actually selling, right? They were selling at this point as they thought of those reversal patterns and stuff, because you can actually see that he created those small candles here that looks like rejection candles. So people were selling as well as the buyers were taken out. Then after he trapped enough volume of those sellers were selling and taking out these buys, he had to reverse again to go up here, trapping more buyers or inducing them to buy, as well as taking these sales out, right? You see this M here, that was the passage which actually created our level 1 here, actually functioned as two things, that is to trap and to induce people, and he actually he took care of that, right? So people actually were taken out who were buying here, right? And more people actually were selling up to this point, because you can actually see that this is a clear M right here, and people were like, wow, we are actually going to ride this trend. Right, let me remove those, right? So that was it with this M here that was created here. You can actually see, you now see the sense of what actually happened, right? So we actually created this thing, then went up again, right? Then created the same mechanism here on level 2, then boom, went up again to level 3. You see it's all about these M's, these traps and stuff that the market maker actually produce. So that was it all about these traps. So we need to come here to see what actually happens. So remember, what happens on a smaller time frame also happens on a bigger time frame. If 3 levels are seen on the H1, it definitely means that it's actually 1 level on the H4, which means this one push up there was actually made of 3 levels on the H1. Remember market fractalization, we'll definitely talk about that. Tell me what you think in the comments. But let's talk about here. As I've stated right now, we talked about market fractalization. So we have to go to the daily time frame to see what is the most probability thing to happen. Like the market may do this, or it may go down like this. So we have to shift to the daily time frame to see what actually happens. So I'm actually going to shift to the daily time frame. This is the daily time frame at the same point in time in the current market price, right? So you can actually see that. Where is that thing that's moving? Let me put a pencil here. So you can actually see that with our peak formation low here. I'll explain to you why I'm saying this is something like a peak formation. Okay, I was using EMAs to count levels, but today it's not about counting levels with EMAs. So as you can see right now, the market created one push up there, then consolidated, then pushed again, consolidated, pushed down, move up there. So you can actually see that this one here was a level 1, level 2, and level 3. But on level 3 you can actually see that this is the first leg of the M. So he has to go up there, then maybe come back down here to create a reset. So I'm anticipating price to push up to this order block, which is now mitigated at this point. I think, let me see, it's not yet mitigated. This D1 order block has not yet been mitigated. We'll definitely talk about those, but the market has to come back down here to create something like a W on the H4, but on the D1 it will definitely be a V, right? So let me move back to my H4 here. On H4 the market maker is actually going to create a W, something like this, go down here, then boom, and probably he is actually targeting this order block here. We'll talk about that. Okay guys, we'll definitely talk about that. Right now we are talking about levels and what to expect in the market. So he is probably going to mitigate this order block a lot and go up there to create the second leg on the D1, as well as this M that looks clear on the H4 time frame, right? You see where we're actually going. And before everything else, let me do this. Let me show you this, right? This is what we were explaining right here. I was explaining this point here as to where the market is to go. Remember, this one push on a bigger time frame actually equal to these 3 small pushes on a smaller time frame, right? This second push here would definitely be equal to these smaller pushes on a smaller time frame. Then this third one would definitely be equal to these smaller movements. So the market, I think, if you Uguti, you are that kind of a person who has done BTMM, you can actually see that we have both peak formation, then we have the ID50, then the safety trade, then the recess, then there are other peak, right? So this will definitely be the peak and level 1 push, which in most cases create the ID50 or the safety trade, right? Then level 2 up there, right? So if you go to a smaller time frame, you definitely see that these are resets, these are resets, these are resets again, right? And on a bigger time frame, it will definitely be these I don't know, these like, I don't, this is like those signs, I don't know, triangles or something like that, and they will be looking like A's. That's what people who do BTMs do a BTMM say, right? They'll be like A's, right? So go down. So I will definitely put more and further explanations on the theory part of this side, and as you have seen on the practical side that I was doing with those chart illustrations, this is like the version 1.0, as it is something like the introduction to level counting. Please tell me what you want to know more about these levels in the comments, so that I can create a better 1.1 version, so that you understand. Please note that I don't sell anything on this channel. You won't buy anything. I don't sell mentorship, I don't sell courses. I just do what you tell me to do. If you want to know about order blocks, I'll definitely explain that. So as for this episode, this was all about, level counting, right? Thank you guys for watching. I don't take your support for granted, and I just want to thank you again for watching this episode.